Hey friends, good morning. So I have been spending much of my behind the wheel listening time to Road Dog Trucking, and have been learning a lot about all different segments of the industry. I think I actually have my headset on. Hopefully you could hear the beginning of that. But most importantly is the new entry-level requirements for someone that wants to come out and get their CDL, or move from like a Class B to a Class A CDL. And this is all taking place a little less than a year from now on February 7th, 2020. So if there was any time to really decide when you're going to get your license, this may move you quicker. So what this rule is saying for entry-level commercial driver's license holders is that, and this is my interpretation after going out and reading the final rule. So you want to consult it, for yourself. It's on the FMCSA website under entry-level training, like you could put in February 2020. So essentially what I am gathering from this information is that so you have to go to an accredited training program / school that's on the FMCSA website. So long gone are the days where, Pops can train you, or you can learn from Gramps on the farm. And I'm trying to be hokey by saying those things. Those things happen in real life. You learn from your dad, you learn from your grandpa how to drive the truck. Well, next year that changes. They may very well, in fact, train you, but you can't go from that to going to get your license like you used to. So apparently this has been a long fight since the 80s to try to get some minimum requirements. And they've finally at least done it in part. So, so you have to attend a school. The school itself has to provide both like range, so you're off the public highways, range behind the wheel driving, as well as public behind the wheel driving. You also have to do skills tests, driving maneuvers, all of those things before you can actually test for your CDL. So your training school has to somehow provide your test scores and your satisfaction completion to the FMCSA. They then will deliver the results to your local driving, they didn't call it a DMV, but essentially wherever you would test for your area. And then you could actually do the test. But it's not until that the school says that you can do these things satisfactorily. You've tested that you can. They've certified that, sent the information to the FMCSA, and now you can test. So that is a little bit of a change. Let's see what else. There's no minimum amount of hours yet that you need to do. Let's see. The other big change is that for you to be a certified trainer come February 7th, 2020, you have to have 2 years behind the wheel driving experience. So there was a lot of conversation about this on Road Dog Trucking. I think there is more discussion around who's training versus people that are coming in, and obtaining their CDLs. I couldn't find a lot of information about training minimum requirements. So can you drive local and become an over-the-road certified trainer? Can you have your CDL and you're a yard dog for 25 years, and now you want to go over the road, and you also have been behind the wheel for 2 years, so you can become a trainer. So there's a lot of questions surrounding the trainer portion of it, and there's a lot of scrutiny behind, is 2 years enough? So when I was listening to Road Dog Trucking, I feel like there's a lot of valuable input, whether I agree with it or not. But at some point you have to draw the line. So either you put into place, if when you come out to get your CDL, there are certain things that you have to do. You have to be able to back. You have to be able to drive down the road. You have to be able to follow the laws, the signs. So what is it that you want a trainer to have, do, or meet as expectations to become a trainer, right? It's just like in the corporate world, not everyone that's proficient at their job should become a manager. Oh, that's hell. Not everybody that's proficient at their job should teach somebody else how to do their job. That's hell. Just because you've been driving for 6 years does not make you a good trainer. Just because you've been driving for 6 years doesn't make you a good driver. I have seen a lot of veteran drivers that are self-proclaimed veteran drivers that are filled with complacency. They don't do their pre-trips. This one guy said, I run the same route every day unless the light comes on. I don't look at anything. All right, and what time do you leave? Because I want to make sure I'm not on the same road as you. So I don't know what the answer is. I get questions all the time, like, haven't you only been out here for a year? Yeah, I went to school October 17th. October 15th, 2017. And today is February 15th, 2019. And next week I will be in training to become a trainer for over the road. What makes me qualified to do so? It's a great question, and one that I continue to ask myself. So let me start with what I know. I have a passion to help people. I have an unbelievable respect for the job, for the machine, what I'm driving, what I'm pulling, for everyone around me. I just had a conversation with my sister. I'm like, when you're in a car, I don't think you pull out of your garage and think about life and death when you're driving down the road. I do. Not the act of dying, but how much responsibility I have, because it's the difference between life and death, right? I make a bad decision that can be fatal. The other thing is, I believe that I have learned a ton since training, right? I came out, was solo for a bit, and then I brought on a team driver that was also in my class. And I won't get into the specifics of our teaming environment, but let's just say that we were not in the same category of driving, of respect, of safety. Let me just say that. And I was not the trainer, but it is my truck. I do run the business. So a lot of times I inserted myself into that place. So I felt like I was a trainer for many months. unofficially. The other thing is, I don't want people to experience what I experienced. I asked a lot of questions because that's how I learn. And they went unanswered, frankly, in training. And the guy that I had 6 years of experience. So if you're basing your requirements to become a trainer on 2 years, did he fulfill that requirement? Sure. Was he a good trainer? Not for me. Not to me, not with me. I learned after training. And what I learned, I want to share while I am a trainer. I really feel that I have a lot of, I feel I have a lot of knowledge, some experience, and skills to share. Now, the one thing that I would argue, and I will argue this till the cows come home, is one gentleman on Road Dog, a caller called in and said, I think you need to be driving for, I think he said like 10 years. He said, all these new drivers don't even have a 9/16 wrench and can fix something on the Rocky Mountains for their brakes. Well, you're damn straight, because I didn't go to school for diesel mechanics, and I'll be damned if you're touching my brakes. Did you go to school with your 9/16 wrench for diesel mechanics? And if you didn't, then what makes you any more skillful at your job? Because, what, you've done it one time, you have a wrench? Like, you scared the shit out of me working on your own brakes? Like, you won't accept somebody that goes through a school and has been out here on the road driving, but you'll go ahead and, tweak your brakes at the Rocky Mountains because you haven't been through diesel mechanics school. That makes me feel really safe. Now, I know I'm kind of, being a little bitchy, if you will, but come on. Come on. That's like, what? I don't know. So maybe this is a subject that's really close to home, because I am about to go back to Prime to be trained to be a trainer. And there's a certain, there's a certain stigma for Prime anyway. And what's interesting is that most people that dog Prime out have never driven for them. It's just because they're a mega carrier that's what they have the problem with. Prime has classroom. I mean, if you go to Missouri training, it is like 7 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. That orientation the first week, you have to go and get your permit, and then after that you literally start your PSD program. But when I went, it was classroom instructions. You have to go to lectures. You have a ton. I almost want to say it's 30. I think it's 30 CBT, so computer-based training courses that you have to go through. You have a headset on, they're audible, there's a slideshow. Then at the end of nearly all of them, you have to take a quiz on what you heard, or on some of them you acknowledge, like, you sign your name that you acknowledge that you watched it. And then there's the simulation. So they have sim machines that they can put in, you either shift like on a manual, or they can switch it to automatic. I learned while it was manual, and they put you through different driving scenarios. So there's a winter driving one. There's just one where, a deer pops out. There's a log truck. There's, so it gets you used to sort of using mirrors. They're expensive machines. They've done a good job at it, and it gives you a sense of what you will encounter. It's not it's not like the truck once you get into the truck, but it's a really good program to get you thinking differently. And then you're also testing and studying for your permit while you're there. So I kind of got off course, but after going through the training next week, if I feel, based on the course that I'm going through to become a trainer, if I feel that I ultimately can't do it because of maybe there's things I don't know, or things that are expected of me that I'm unaware of right now, I won't do it. But for my first year out here, I can tell you that I am very mindful of fueling, where to fuel, how much to fuel. I mean, that's my money, right? I am mindful of safety. I am mindful of other drivers around me. Given my years of experience dealing with the corporate world, I'm mindful of the person on the other side of the glass at the shipper and receiver, at the security guard. This is a tough job, and it can be a thankless job. We all know that. But I feel like I have the right attitude about it. And granted, there's negative days. Like there's days where I rant and I rave, but I do it within the truck. I'll do it, with people on the phone that I trust, but I don't take it out on the customers. I really don't. This started off as the new rules in 2020, but it's sort of put a mirror on me going to training next week. So I'll be honest with you guys. I'll let you know how next week goes. I'll film while I'm there. I'll let you know, but in some jobs you fake it till you make it. This isn't one of them. This isn't a fake it till you make it type job. You have to be confident. You have to be level-headed, make good decisions. If you're not, that's when you'll make mistakes. And I'm not saying we all make mistakes, right? I'm not saying that you won't make a mistake, but it's how you handle them. I make mistakes in training. I've made mistakes out here, but the difference between the mistakes I made in training and what I've made out here, significantly less being out on my own, because I was training. So, well, that's what it is. So, check it out. Go out to the FMCSA website, because things are changing. February 7th, 2020, Chris at one point said he's got a buddy that can teach him, and then he'll just go and take his road test. You can certainly do that up until that date. But February 7th, next year, no sirree, Bob. Nope, can't do it. You'll have to go to school. And I'm interested to see who is on the accredited training programs, because there's already some training schools that are in place. And then there's community colleges, of course, but I haven't taken a look at the list of accredited. I say accredited. I don't think there's credits given, but certified places, perhaps, is what I should be saying. Certified places for training. So what will you decide? And if you're, here's the other thing. If the training school that you're going to isn't already, I already feel like Prime has those things in place, has the classroom training, has the range training, because they have huge pads, and then they take you out on the road. So I feel like they're ahead of the game. There's some schools that don't have that sort of three-prong approach. And then, I wish I could remember the name of the company, but I just don't want to throw a company name out there and be wrong. But there was a prime trainer that was on the road and saw, two guys that were sort of struggling with their fifth wheel. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, like there's a guy in the driver's seat with his foot on the brake, and then the other guy was back by the fifth wheel, and somehow he had like his body like in between the trailer, like, and the prime trainer, who's a driver, went over there and said, what, like, I can't watch, what's going on? He, if he turned for a second and took his foot off the brake, but after speaking to the two guys, they're in TNT training, but unlike in prime where it means trainer and trainee, at this place it means trainee and trainee. So once they go through the trucking school's classroom range, that sort of thing, when you are ready to go out on the road as a trainee, you go out with another trainee. So they put two trainees in the same truck right away. And I can't throw the company name out there because I don't remember what it is, and I don't want to say the wrong company, but maybe you're aware of who it is. But that, to me, is crazy town. Go out on the road with just another trainee for your first time and figure it out. I don't know. But anyway, I'm done with my 30-minute break, so what are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you feel about the entry-level requirements? Are you good with the rules? Do you think you'll make different decisions? What about the training piece? And you know what? Go ahead and speak your mind about the training thing and about me. Like I said to my trainer that I had when he said I wouldn't be successful as a lease, I'm like, you don't know me. I am the only one that knows me and knows what I'm capable of doing. And I kind of feel it's the same thing with everything that I choose to do in life. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think there should be a minimum year requirement? Do you think there should be, I don't know, do you think there should be a mechanics class where you are tweaking your own brakes? Like, I'm not talking about doing the air brake testing, to check your brakes before, going into the mountain. I'm talking, get your wrench out. What do you think should be involved? It's complicated. I get it. It is. But at the same time, I got to think back, like, why was it okay for your dad to teach you on the farm, and you come out and in the 80s and drove with your logbook, parentheses, S, versus people that are coming out now through school? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a conundrum, a quandary, like, who's right, who's wrong? Is there a right or wrong? Is there... I'll be thinking about it now for the rest of my drive. Hopefully I'm giving something for you to think about too. So that's my 2 cents. All right, let me know what you think, because this could be a really lengthy comment section if people are really involved and want to say their piece. So, and comment on each other's too. That's how drivers learn and drivers interact, and you get to see another side of the coin. And am I unfairly judging it? Am I sort of trying to, I don't know, am I experience for training, and that's because I don't want anybody to have the experience I had, and I really feel like I can benefit them. I mean, do I need to do it for financial reasons? It's nice, it's helpful, but I'm still living the same life I was living when I was teaming. So not much of that has changed. I mean, there's a little less going into savings accounts. There's a little, but... And do you have the comforts of having the whole truck to yourself? Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits to being solo. Probably just as many, but different when you go and you do training or teaming. So, all right, I gotta go. Let your thoughts flow. What do you think? It's an interesting subject, that's for sure. But doomsday or good day, February 7th, 2020? You decide.